Hey everybody. This is not going to be one of those lives with a whole bunch of props and stuff and videos and pictures. I really want to talk to y'all one-on-one. So I decided to do this live. I've been watching the news that's been coming out about Big Dale. And I read the paperwork yesterday. My girl was able to get the paperwork besides looking at that video. And it just brought all kinds of wild thoughts to my head because I had a relationship with Dale as well. I used to talk to Dale a lot. But I was talking to a different Dale than the Dale that y'all saw. Rest in peace, Big Dale. I was talking to a different Dale. I was talking to the Dale that was talking on what's the name show on Truth Teller's channel. He did an interview. His first interview was with Truth Teller, and he was spitting game from people from my era be talking, from the old school, from an OG perspective. And he was talking about how everything's happening by design, and it's really coming from outside of our hoods that's making these kids want to shoot each other and shit, talking about the guns. Go listen to that first interview that Big Dale did with Truth Teller. So that was the Dale I was talking to. And some of you may know I rocks with a few channels on YouTube, and a lot of people got upset with Swipe at one point, and anybody who was associated with Swipe. And during that time where Big Dale first started going at it with Swipe, Swipe had asked me to mediate, right? So, because he knew I had a relationship with Dale, he knew I used to talk to Dale all the time. So I would get up there and talk to Dale, and me, Dale, and his wife would be kicking it to Dale and shit. What's up, Murder Gang? Big Dale is Fat Shorty's father. I don't know if you know who Fat Shorty is, nephew, but me and Dale developed a good relationship. Dale wanted me to actually be in his documentary. So when I heard that he was saying that he didn't want me to talk about Chicago, it put up a red flag in my mind. Like, why wouldn't he want me to be and talk about Chicago when he asked me to be in the documentary? Okay, this was before all the shit went down. So as I was looking at the paperwork and I heard the real story that went down with Fat Shorty and Skinny being killed, I was like, damn, this is a case of somebody being older from the streets and getting a lot of respect, and then the younger generation trying to disrespect him. I've seen this so many times. I actually was saving somebody's life one time, y'all. His name was Keenan. And Keenan kept fucking with my homeboy, my homegirl's husband. He kept on, trying to disrespect him and shit. But he didn't know that Just was crazy. I knew Just was crazy. So I was telling him, yo, Keenan, leave him alone, okay? Because he will snap. He'll fucking kill you. He will kill you if you don't stop trying to be disrespectful to him like this. Can y'all hear me good? Hold on a second. Yeah. Y'all can hear me good? So I told Just, I was like, Just, you gotta give Keenan a chance. He's a young boy. You know what I'm saying? Let me sit down and talk to both of y'all so y'all can get a better understanding of each other, so I could shut this shit down that's going on, because somebody gonna get hurt. So I kept the peace with them, but around the time that I was trying to keep the peace with them, a lot of my other niggas was getting killed. Like, it was like every 2 weeks, y'all, I was going to a funeral or a wake or something. And damn, I hope this ain't Mama Duck calling me now. So I never got a chance to I never got a chance to get them together, but I did a good job in keeping them apart and stopping them from actually hurting each other. But when my niggas started getting killed, and then finally my son's father was killed, and my son's godfather was killed, I was ready to get out of New York. So my dad lived in the suburbs in Maryland, and I moved to Maryland. But while I was in Maryland, what's up, Mike? While I was in Maryland sitting there watching the news, just the older dude I was telling y'all about that was crazy, I see his ass on Crime Stoppers. I see my whole projects in New York, and I see his face, his mugshot. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? They were saying they was looking for him. It was a worldwide thing. Because I'm in another state. It ain't even New York, and this shit came on. This is how much they was looking for Just, okay? So I called home, and I got the news that the same dude I was trying to protect, that I told y'all, I was telling him to stop disrespecting the older dude. He told him to suck his thing in the park one day. They saw each other, and my man Just made him get down on his knees, and he shot him in his head right there in the middle of the park, okay, in Brooklyn, right there in the middle of the park. He killed him right there, and then he left. He dressed like a girl, and he left the hood, okay? So I'm saying that to say I've had a lot of experience in this generational gap with the young OGs and the older OGs. Now, if you selling product on the streets and these younger dudes is robbing you, usually the penalty for that is death. You know what I'm saying? Because if you let them get away with it, then everybody's going to try you. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes your hand is forced when you have a certain position on the streets where you have to alleviate certain situations by murking somebody, yo. Because if you don't, it'll cause more problems for you in the long run. So I'm looking at this situation with Big Dale. And don't get me wrong, I was really mad at Big Dale because I felt like he was our age, and when he would get up there and talk, he would have his hat to the side and stuff like that. And that wasn't the Big Dale that I was talking to when I talked to him on the phone. This was, when he got online, it was a different Big Dale. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't understand why, I would talk to him on the phone and it was back to our era and our street codes, and then when he got online, it was something different. And his wife would be in the background saying, Queen is right, listen to her. And then I called Mama Duck and talked to Mama Duck one day. I was like, how can we get Big Dale and them to stop arguing and shit? Because I can't do this on my own. I'm not from Chicago. I know people respect me, you know what I'm saying? But I can't stop, this type of stuff from going on. Especially being that I didn't grow up with them or nothing like that. So Mama Duck was like, I'm throwing my hands in the air because I try to talk to Big Dale. And he's not listening to me. I told him that these are kids he's talking to. Like, he shouldn't even be bothered with it. But now I understand why Dale was so adamant. Because the first stories we was hearing when Fat Shorty and Skinny got killed was they got killed by accident. That Skinny, that they was Skinny. Somebody called Skinny a snitch at the party. And it escalated, and a drink was spilled on Big Dale's wife, and they tried to shoot at Skinny, but they shot Fat Shorty by accident. But then, as I'm reading the paperwork now, Fat Shorty got shot 5 times. Now, 5 times getting shot is not a fucking accident, okay? To me, that's deliberate if you shoot somebody 5 freaking times. Fat Shorty was not no skinny dude that you couldn't really see what the hell he was doing. You know what I'm saying? You knew who you were shooting, and you shot them 5 times. So that gave me cause for concern. Then they're coming out saying that Big Dale sent his stepson to get at Skinny now. And also a story is coming out that there was an altercation between Big Dale and Skinny prior to this whole situation even happening, involving some of his product being gone. Now, this is when This is when the street doctrine can become detrimental and poisonous. You know what I'm saying? And all logic goes out the window. Because now you operating from your ego. Because now you've been disrespected. And when you're not used to being disrespected and you getting up in age and these little shorties is disrespecting you, then you got to show them who you are. Some people will say fuck it and handle it another way. But most older dudes that's from the streets that had a big name, they going to handle you. They going to handle you or they going to send somebody at you. So I came to the conclusion that I think that Dale was feeling very guilty about Fat Shorty being killed. You know what I'm saying? I think he felt real guilty about that. And he couldn't share his story with everybody. Not this type of story. It was too deep. Because it really, when it boils down to it, it was his ego. It's his ego that he wasn't facing. You know what I'm saying? Me, myself, I probably would have sat down and kicked it with them because we have such a long relationship and these kids are so close to my son. So I might have kicked it with them because I always believed in the game. I never understood the saying, the game is to be told and not sold. I never understood that. But I understand it now. A lot of older people that know the game, they sold it. You know what I'm saying? It was sold. Now it's become monetized. The game has become monetized. So now all of the teachings and all of the street codes and integrity is going out the window because now it's about money. It's marketable now. So when you put money involved, when money is involved, you're not going to get too much integrity in street codes and shit because people want that money. Okay, so fuck all those rules and all that respect shit y'all talking about. Because now the game is monetized. The game should have been told because a lot of us as older people that's coming from these communities, we didn't pass the game on to the younger generation. Some of it is because they was removed. Either they died or they got put in jail because they was giving football numbers to all the OGs across all the cities. They was locking up the OGs. And that left a big hole. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, us females, we can talk to these young boys. I had a lot of young boys used to come to me and kick it with me and listen to the stories. And then I would tell them the outcomes, hoping that by giving them the outcomes, it'll deter them from going too far. You feel me? But now, I see how detrimental that was because if the game is sold, it'll be distorted. But if it's told and it's taught, it might be ingested so that then the next generation can teach the generation under them. So when they say the game is to be told, that's for the OGs to teach the younger people which directions to go when they moving on the streets. But now that it's been sold, that's damn near impossible. What's up, Skippy? R.I.P. Big Dale. So I think Big Dale let his ego, which is the devil, the ego can be the devil because it distorts all views. All views that you have of common sense and common knowledge gets distorted. There was a time when D was doing his videos and stuff, right? He was getting on Dale's nerves. So Dale texted me one day. Here's the text, y'all. He texted me one day. He was like, Queen, can you talk to Main Media and tell him to stop doing them damn videos? Right? I couldn't fit the whole thing up here. It's too long. So I was like, I can't tell him what to do. Like, I didn't think I could tell anybody what to do. They gonna do what they gonna do. Like, but I just happened to be talking to D one day, Main Media. And I was like, yeah, Big Dale had called me and asked me to tell you to stop doing them fucking videos. So D was like, okay, Queen, he asked you that? All right, out of respect for you, I will stop doing the videos. But I told him, I went to him and I said, this was last year around this time, February 22nd, 27, 2023. I said, I spoke to Main Media. He says he will stop. Salute. I said, I'm working. I was trying to get y'all, everybody together. I said, could you please stop things on your end? And he was like, he clicked like on what I said. And he said, thank you. Right. And I said, so then on my birthday's March 9th. It's coming up this Saturday. So that's really got me thinking about Big Dale. Because on my birthday last year, he just sent me a cash app out of nowhere and was like, happy birthday. Enjoy your day, queen. You know what I'm saying? And this was in the middle of everybody arguing and fighting and scratching, you know. I tried to maintain my relationship with Big Dale just in case somebody needed to be a mediator. So then Swipe was like, can somebody, you know, Swipe had all this information a long time ago, but he never said anything. I don't think he wanted to go that far, you know, and tell Big Dale's business like that. So he had asked me, because he knew I had a relationship with Dale, he was like, could you talk to Dale? Like, can we somehow mediate this situation before it go too far? And I was like, okay, I'll try. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying. And it wasn't working. So I was like, we was talking one day. It was me, C Hood, and Swipe. And I think all of us was talking. And I was like, I don't know, C Hood. Because Swipe had told C Hood to see if he could mediate too. I said, C Hood, I think you're going to have to mediate this because maybe, you know, I'm a female. It'll be better coming from a male. So that's when C Hood took over, you know, and he started talking to Big Dale. So it was many attempts prior to all of this shit blowing up to get everybody together and to get everybody to not argue and fight and shit. But I'm realizing now too that Dale's fear was that this story was going to come out, that he was involved, even if it was peripherally, okay, that he was involved in his son being killed. He didn't want that to get out there. So he was trying to control the narrative on these platforms, but he couldn't control Swipe. You know what I'm saying? So then him and Swipe got at it. Yeah, he was trying to do damage control. So then him and Swipe got at it because Skinny had called Swipe a store runner. Right? That's what Swipe was talking about, you know, Manny, you know, and Young and them not giving Mama Duck her money and shit like that. You know, that's how I started listening to Swipe, because he was going in on Manny for Mama Duck not having the rights to her son's shit. And me too, Skippy. And so people was getting mad at Swipe because Swipe was going in, okay? When he started talking about that, he was going in and people was throwing insults at him and trying to minimize his role with Duck and all of them. So, you know, they was attacking Swipe. So Swipe was attacking back. You know, that's our ego. You feel me? Somebody attack you, you want to attack back. So he started saying, does Skinny don't, you know, Skinny start coming out talking shit. And Swipe was like, Skinny, don't make me tell the truth about you. You shouldn't be talking no fucking way, because you a fucking snitch. And then he started talking about the paperwork. So, but the paperwork had already been out there. You know what I'm saying? The paperwork was already out there. So, but Swipe started talking about it. And then I know, like I was just saying before, the first stories that came out was that, now, Murder Gang, you don't know the whole story, so just listen, please. Like, he's not doing too much at all. You don't know the story. We'll talk privately. You know what I'm saying? You're just looking at it from the outside. Like, I don't know what you mean. Like, why he's still talking about things today. He's not talking about anything anymore. But, so, it got to the point where I didn't understand where Dale was coming from, because in my mind, I was saying, okay, Dale, we was talking, and you sound a whole different way when we talk on the phone than what you do online. We were just talking, and Dale would get right online and do a video, sneak this and swiping them, right? So I couldn't understand where he was coming from with that until now. You know what I'm saying? Deep down within him, he didn't want this story to get out because he knew that he had let his ego fuck up his whole thought process and his whole decision making, yo. to the point where his son got killed. So then the mother came out and started talking to different people, telling her side of the story, which she started on Facebook, where she's the one that really started talking about Dale's role in Fat Shorty being killed. She was the one at first talking about it, but a lot of people wasn't on her Facebook page. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta say this. A lot of people was trying to show respect here for Fat Shorty, for Big Dale, for Skinny, by not really talking about this. They was talking about it privately amongst themselves. You know what I'm saying? And then Cash got killed. And there was all kinds of stories going on. But I do remember the first story that came out about Cash when he passed away was that when they was before they shot him, actually physically shot him, that he had said, wait a minute, let's talk about this to the people that shot him. I remember that story coming out at first, and everybody assuming that it had to be somebody that knew him that shot him, because he said, wait a minute, let's talk about this. And I don't think that Cash thought that he was in danger, because Cash know how to move when he in danger. Look, Cash was in the middle of this war and shit all these fucking years. Like, you know, even though he was locked up a lot, Cash knew how to move in his city. We all know how to move in our city, especially if we involved in certain shit. So I found it very strange, you know, and so did a lot of other people, that Cash had got killed like that, because we was like, that's got to be a setup, because the man know how to move in his city. You know what I'm saying? He was around the most dangerous people. He was around people that people wanted to get at. You know what I'm saying? And yep, Queen. And that's what everybody was assuming. But to look now at the whole situation, I think Les got caught up in that street doctrine that's practically driven in our minds. The allure of it, the glamour of it, the romanticizing of the street starts when we born. Like, you got these movies when I was little. I'm watching Three the Hard Way and Harlem World, and dead people get shot up. You know what I'm saying? Even in the movies. You know, now it's real. Now they got it in real life. But I'm going to tell you how these people get down. Because before they got us to get in the drug game, they showed us the movie Scarface. They showed us how he came up from nothing and became big overnight. All that money, you know what I'm saying? And then they made it real for us in the streets. So now, in this generation, they don't just want you to get caught up in the drug game and kill each other. Now they want you to just kill each other. Fuck the money part. We don't have to give y'all no money no more, because y'all are so romanticized now. And we have got your minds so trained about being the biggest, baddest dude on the streets that we don't even have to show y'all the money no more. See, my generation, they had to get us out. We was still a unit. It was before crack, so they had to show us the money. If you want us to do this, we got to have access to that dough too. You feel me? But now they're using the rap game for that. And they've incorporated all of that in one. For you to be a respected rapper, you gotta have been in the streets. You have to have bodies. You know what I'm saying? Fuck money. It's nothing about money anymore. Money is just a part of the game later. But you got all these dudes on the streets wanting to stand on business and wanting to knock each other off, so that they can get the attention they may need. If they get in the rap game, I got this body, I got that body. Even if it's only about 1 or 2% that's gonna make it, they still all striving to have this fucking image of being a shooter. You know what I'm saying? So that they could carry that in the game. It's a trap. It's a trap, y'all. And they even called it trap music at one point. When they started doing the transition over from being hip-hop, from it being the black CNN, where all the cities knew where all of us was at mentally. We doing this now, we doing that now, to now it's a death call. It's murder. It's murder. Fuck, I don't hear nobody talking about I'm gonna get this money no more. There's no money on the streets, because now they can control you with the money part. I just got to get on. I just got to sign a deal. But in order for you to be relevant, You gotta have bodies. This is why Vaughn was so popular. You know what I'm saying? This is why people say he was the realest and this and this and that. And there's people aspiring to be like him. So they're going to try to use the same blueprint. Because whether y'all know it or not, y'all get y'all blueprints and y'all ideas of life and y'all prototypes from hip-hop. From the movies. Now all you got is the movies, murking people, the TV shows. Every time I look at the TV shows, there's a black man leaking. Yeah, it's no money, nephew. It's no real. My nephew used to say, yeah, it's money, but it is money, nephew. But it's not money like anybody could get that money. You feel me? Like, you gotta be smart to be a scammer. You gotta be smart. You have to have some type of intelligence. Back then in the hood, yeah, you didn't need none of that. All you had to do is get you a package, get you a good spot, get you some customers, and you'll be rich overnight. So it was different. It was different. You had niggas pulling in $50,000, $60,000 a day, making $1 million a week on the streets. So that type of money is no longer available. I was telling the mods, because we be talking sometimes, I was telling them the difference. Whereas you had 3-4 rich niggas on every block, yo. And that shit ain't happening today. That shit is never gonna happen again. Foreign cars, you ain't have to go to a car show to see no foreign cars. Because you see foreign cars coming. Or any type of car you wanted to see was coming up your block or parked on the corner or something. You feel me? So it was a lot of money in the streets then. Hey Samantha, love you too, queen. So that's the era that Dale come from. You know what I'm saying? And in order for you to maintain your spots and your drug turf, you had to make noise in the street sometimes. So, you know, you had to maintain your respect. So that's the era that Dale comes from. You know, he come from that get money era. He come from that get money era. I'm sure y'all all heard the story about the twins in the Calumet building. You know, that's the type of money niggas was making on the streets in every city. But at the same time, it was destroying us. It was destroying our moral fiber. It was destroying our integrity. It was destroying the respect we have for one another. And it was destroying the natural quality of life. Yeah, people back here stayed because it wasn't that dangerous. You know what I'm saying? They stayed because everybody was getting money. So it wasn't no need to leave because everybody was getting money on the blocks. So it was rich niggas, they stayed right here. And people had enough respect to not violate. You had to really do something for a nigga to violate you and shoot up your motherfucking house. Like, you really had to do some shit for somebody to do that. Or otherwise, they'll catch you somewhere else. Samantha, I have made you a mod, and I don't see why it's not showing. I gotta do it again, cause I made you a mod. So I understand where Dale was coming from in his mind, and the training and the indoctrination of, nigga, you gonna respect me. So if somebody took his package and his son is not listening to him, like, who gave him the load to the party? You brought this nigga to the party, and if it's true that they had a fight, because that's what we're hearing, that there was a physical altercation, you know, that's Dale thinking that, you know, I got to do something to get my power back, because he's been so used to being respected and having that power. You don't want to lose that. That's the only way you know how to live. So the ego can play the devil sometime, y'all. The ego can be the devil, yo. If you can't control that shit. I could always talk a nigga off the bridge, y'all. I could sit there and talk to the worst niggas in my hood, and they would listen to me because I just had a way with understanding where they was coming from. I understood where they was coming from. I done sat there and watched them my whole life. I watched them transition from being little niggas to big niggas. So I understood where they was coming from. And I've seen family members shit on each other for the respect of the streets. I've seen that before. Yeah, the smart kids is, they trying to do something different. And it's more and more people getting smart. But that's why I named this live, The Game is to be told and not sold. Because once it's sold, all the messages and all the teachings and all the passing on of the knowledge from the older generation is fucked up. Because it's all about money now. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. And little nigga, I don't care about you because I need this paper now. It ain't no paper. I'm not getting paper like I used to get paper. So fuck these little niggas. I've seen many people as we got older, the little shorties disrespecting them and shit. And sometimes I would be able to step in and talk to people and shit'll be cool, but it's like I always had to be around. Like, it wasn't like they ingested that shit. It's like I always had to be around and I had to keep repeating myself to keep niggas from killing each other. I've been doing this since I was a young girl. Since I was 12, 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? I came up here with that same mentality. It worked for me on the streets. This is the virtual streets. Maybe it'll work here. Let me explain to these young kings who they are. Let me explain to these young kings that they are kings. They are royalty. And they are invisible enemies that they don't know about that want them to kill each other. That was my goal. It wasn't to be up here getting shout outs and clout and all this little stupid little kid shit. Nah. I was coming here to tell these young kings that they are kings. Yeah, we don't come from the same city, but we come from the same tribe. So them being able to take the money off the streets and just dead that money, everything was transferred to the industry. So now when people want money, they want to get in the industry. When niggas come home from jail, they want to get caught. They want to get associated with some type of rap group so they can find a way to get some of that money. But they knew what they was doing when they did that. Because now they can control everything. The narrative. If they want to take a nigga out, they can get up here and tell us, oh yeah, because he was beefing with such and such, right? So, they were shooting at each other, trying to kill each other, right? Well, now he's dead, and guess who's responsible? That's easy to do. Because the first thing everybody gonna say is, oh, he was beefing with such and such. The streets. Nah, the streets goes far beyond now than y'all imagination. The streets has a hidden hand. And that's what I used to talk to Dale about a lot. I wasn't sure if Dale understood that. The streets had a hidden hand, because he would agree with me on how different it is now, and the morals and the scruples and the borderlines that we no longer have, the boundaries. And we used to have long conversations about that. But there was something eating him up that none of us, or no type of conversation, could have erased from his soul. And that was him believing that he was responsible for his son's passing. His mother's only child. And not only that, he was also responsible for sending his stepson off, his wife's son. So all of that shit is on a nigga head. But he chose to ignore the responsibility of that, the accountability. And that's what turned him into the monster side. That's where the monster camp comes out. Because you keep trying to bury that shit. And you can't. Maybe if I could control YouTube and control the narrative and tell these dudes that this person is lying or this person don't know what they talking about, maybe, I could control the narrative. I could clean this shit up. But you can't clean it up from yourself. And it'll eat you alive. Your conscience can eat you alive. Because now it done hit home now. Because I was saying to myself, where's all the older dudes at that's talking like this, that know the rules? I wasn't seeing anybody on YouTube when I first came here, older dudes trying to kick it to the young dudes and give them game. Like, I don't see older dudes giving young men game no more, y'all. And I was like, look, I'm not a dude, and I don't know none of these people. But any opportunity that I have to spit some game, I'ma spit it. And people started respecting that. And that's how people started calling my name and stuff like that. It wasn't about clout. It was about love. I wanted to tell motherfuckers that if we don't stop this shit, it's gonna go so far. Listen, all these young dudes out here right now that's talking all this gang shit and that's giving energy to this gang shit, in about 10 more years, they're gonna be calling you OG. And you're gonna have to deal with these little monsters that you have created, that you have indoctrinated with this allure and this romance with the fake ass fucking streets, yo. These same niggas that you sending off may attack your mother or your grandmother or your wife. So I'm asking all the older dudes that's still out here, and you know the game. Try to talk to these young dudes now, yo. Before all of us get killed. Because what's going to happen is, the older people now is going to say, fuck this, and start getting their guns now. So it's going to be a war. From the inside, it's going to be the righteous against the unrighteous, I keep telling y'all. Because me, I'm an older woman, but I ain't letting no young boy punk me. If I got an AR-15 in the house and this nigga disrespect me, I might just come in the house and get my gun. Especially if I don't have control of my ego. So all of y'all up here talking all this gang shit, and y'all fucking know. If y'all don't know, y'all, it's somewhere in you that's saying all this shit is fake. All this shit is fake. If y'all don't switch that shit around, take responsibilities as older, experienced men, black men, and start kicking it to these young boys and try to help them to get out of these streets, we all gonna wind up dead, y'all. Because we all gonna kill each other. These people ain't gotta come in here and do shit to us and turn off our phones and the underground shelters and the end of the world and Noah's Ark. No, we gonna take each other out. Hell yeah, Skippy. Because I'm gonna tell you, I ain't forget how to move, how to be a gangster. Just because I'm older. That shit don't never leave you. Yeah, people get sick of that shit. Like, I don't care if I'm 100. I'ma still remember the fact that I have respect and I'm not gonna be disrespected by no little ass kids. And I might just wind up clapping somebody. And that's what the fuck be happening, y'all. So, it's a full-fledged plan. It's a full-fledged plan by your real enemies, by your real ops. That they can't lose. Because as long as they keep putting out this allure and have these kids all romance with the street and who's like that and who ain't like that, anybody could be like that if they got a gun. It's like, my mama could be like that. If she decides she want to clap your ass and she got a gun. All my aunts was with gangsters. Like, all of them was with, they Spanish and black. These niggas was gangsters. They was getting their money. They was laying niggas down. So even when I was a kid, I was exposed to that. So being a kid and exposed to gangsters, then when I got older, I wasn't looking at the nerds. I wasn't looking at the guys that was going to school and working I wanted to be with a shot caller. I wanted to be with a Willie. We used to call them Willies. I wanted to be with a gangster. I saw my aunts be with gangsters. I saw my mother be with a gangster. My stepfather was working in the post office and making hella money selling weed on the side. You know, he was buying cars like it was no tomorrow. I could get anything I want. I came up in that life. My uncles was gangsters. My uncle is 78 years old, y'all. He still got like 8-9 fucking luxury cars, foreign cars in his fucking driveway in front of his fucking house. Just like when he was younger. And believe me, if somebody try to come fuck with him, he gonna clap their ass. All of my uncles was in the army. So all of them have training, wartime training. Sometimes we have to talk them down. They all get 100% from the fucking military because they crazy. So they get $100,000 a year from the military. They gangster shit got them paid. But again, rest in peace to Big Dale. I kind of understand what made him do it. I'm not saying he's right. I'm not saying he's wrong. But what I'm saying is, if I put myself in his shoes and in his mindset, I understand what made him go that far. It's because he did not check his ego at the door. Because as soon as somebody insults us, we all fly off the handle. Those of you that know me, sometimes people be getting up here talking about me because they can't control me, or they don't like the fact that I associate with certain people, or whatever the fuck the reason may be. And they'll get up here and talk their shit, and I won't say a fucking word unless they cross the fucking line. Because I have learned how with age to check my motherfucking ego. And I pick my battles. You don't tell me who I'ma fight with. I tell me who I'ma fight with. It's more than one way to fight. Sometimes I'll just sit back and let you motherfuckers hang yourselves. Because I know you're gonna hang yourself. That's the experience in me. I know you're gonna hang yourself. Especially if you fucking with me for no reason. So I'll get out of the way of that karma. I'll get out the way and let it hit you full force. Yeah, Skippy, my uncles was always in some shit on the rooftop beating somebody up or something. They, yeah, go get your uncles. My uncle came one day. He thought somebody was trying to break in his car because his alarm went off. He's shooting up the projects. He got the fucking gun strap on his ankle and shit. Old school. He got the bell bottoms on. He reached down and I had to stop my uncle from shooting niggas, yo. For touching his fucking car. You know, I've been jumping in the middle of gunfights for years. Yeah, my Uncle Carlos. He's still crazy to this day. My grandmother stabbing niggas in the eyes with scissors and shit. Listen, y'all don't know. My grandfather, when he first came here from Panama, they tried to rob him. He stabbed 2 or 3 niggas. He was in his 60s. He stabbed all 3 of them niggas. My first boyfriend, he was crazy. To this day, they won't say his name on the internet, and he was one of the leaders of the Bloods, of the blood gangs. The same blood gang that was associated with 6ix9ine. And they've been trying to kill him in jail. He had several situations where they tried to kill him still to this day, and they're trying to kill him. I might have him come up here one day and do an interview. And I see all them telling jail stories. They don't never say that nigga name. And sometimes I'll bring his name up and they'll say, no, I ain't talking about him. I ain't talking about him. They don't talk about him. They don't say one fucking word about that nigga. And he's a lunatic. He will shoot you. He will kill you. Matter of fact, if I go back in time, he killed one of my friends. You know what I'm saying? And that was because of his ego, because one of his friends had just got killed. And he was so blind with rage that when he seen them coming, he just started busting at them. That's how my son's father got killed. Niggas scared of him facing them. They thought he was coming to kill, but he had left the machine gun. He had a fucking machine gun. He left the machine gun in the trunk. He went to talk to these people. But when they saw him, they were so scared he was coming to do something, they killed him. Sometimes a nigga, I learned that too, a scared nigga will kill you, okay? And I told y'all this story before. They killed my son's father in Washington, D.C. And when he had a big drug spot over there, well, my mother-in-law, she was a willie. She was getting money in them streets. And he was running one of her spots. And they wanted that spot. These are people that knew them. They wanted the spot because she was making crack money, cocaine money off of weed. Because in D.C., if a dime over here, a $10 bag over here could sell for $20, $30 over there. So they wanted that spot because it was hot. All day long, people was coming in and out of that place. And they wanted it. And my mother-in-law kept saying, when my son come home, you know, she was just talking to certain people and they went back and was telling them. So they thought that when my son's father came home, he was going to kill them. So they was waiting for him. So when he finally came to talk to them, they killed him. And people ain't even want to tell me what happened. He didn't want to even tell me because I was always, like, if my son's father had a problem, I was always there front and center with him. Like, I was his soldier. Like, what happened? I'm there with you. What happened? You know what I'm saying? And he didn't tell me about this because it was too dangerous. And he knew I would come down there and try to help him. So he didn't tell me. But when his friends found out what happened, they went down there. And they found these people, y'all. And they called me on the phone. They had niggas. They was like, go find Renee and tell her we found these niggas. What does she want us to do? Because a lot of people admired me and my son's father relationship. We was real tight, okay? They asked her, what does she want us to do? And I said, don't do shit. I ain't God. That ain't my call. It's not my call. I was 22 years old. It's not my call to say who live or die. I'm not God. I know my position. I know my place. And like 2-3 months later, they called me and they was like, yo, it didn't have nothing to do with us. We swear to God, word is bond. We didn't have nothing to do with this, but them niggas that killed, you know, BLR, Dubois, he was a 5%er. They dead. Not the person is dead, but the person lost 2 of their family members, and he was the one that found them in the house with their heads blown off, yo. He walked in the house and found his relatives in the house with their head blown off. It had nothing to do with nobody that I know, but that was karma. So what I felt once, they felt twice. So I learned at a very young age. What's up, BZ? I learned at a very young age to let karma handle my problems. And it always does, y'all. It always. Motherfuckers attacking me for no reason. I be feeling sorry for them. And I don't be having nothing to do with it. Except for one time, because, you know, it's just like today when you friends with, I grew up with all these dudes and I went to school with them. And I live in a pretty good area. Like, I lived in an area where it was like 10 or 11 projects, yo. So it was a lot of us. And when the drug king came out, everybody became enemies because everybody wanted this block to sell their drugs and that block. So niggas started fighting over blocks. And it was the same dudes. We all went to school together. We all grew up together. They turned into enemies. But I wasn't selling drugs. So I was like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. And they, oh, you going over there? You still be going over there with that nigga T-Black? Yeah, that's my nigga. You know what I'm saying? And they would call me and be like, oh, Renee, you got my ex number. Because when they got into some beef, they would call him like to go and hit somebody up, to go shoot somebody. So they would call me, yo, what's Med's number? And I'd be like, I don't know. They was like, Renee, you don't know Mia's number? No. Don't get me involved. Call such and such. Maybe they got the number. I'm not getting involved with sending him off. That's my man anyway. I was dealing with him at the time. I don't want him going out there shooting and killing no fucking body. He was already coming to my house. He'd be coming to see me. It'd be 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. He got on a bulletproof vest in the summertime with 2 t-shirts on and 2 goddamn Glocks. So y'all be thinking that older people don't know nothing about the game in the streets. The game don't change. It's the same shit. It's just that you got now more people willing to crash out because the industry has made it so if you a crash out person, you get more respect and you get more credibility. You get street cred that way. So now everybody's looking to crash the fuck out. But real gangsters move in silence. I remember niggas, you could interrogate them. They own brother, they wouldn't tell them that they did what something happened. They'd be like, oh, that shit happened to such and such. Knowing damn well they did it. They wouldn't even tell their own family members they had anything to do with the shit. You wouldn't know unless you saw it with your own 2 eyes. And Forster gets hit with the hardest sentence. Well, we wasn't really with the gang shit over here in New York, unless you want to call the 5%ers the gang shit. But the foundation of New York City streets is that the black man is more than what he's been taught he was. So it wasn't really kill first. It never was kill first. Most of the dudes that was getting killed was the ones that was crash outs. And niggas was like, they making the blocks too hot. They gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody took off with somebody package. You know, some kilos was missing. And next thing you know, whoever was involved, they missing. Niggas is coming around looking for them. Well, you seen such and such? And that nigga be buried behind the airport somewhere. Or, you know what I'm saying? Tied up on a bench with a plastic bag over his head. You know what I'm saying? And done got shot in the fucking head. Like that type of shit. Or playing Russian roulette. Niggas get high. Playing with the gun. Killing each other or killing themselves. But the game is to be told. Not sold. So when I'm up here telling the game. When I'm up here spitting this type of shit. It's because older niggas is not passing the game down to these young boys, y'all. And saving their lives. That's the way I see it. And it's not enough of them. It's not enough. And we lost too many people. Too many young dudes have been caught up in this trap. They took it from trapping to drilling. Fuck trap. Fuck trap and getting money. Now we just gonna kill. Nigga, you said what? I'ma kill you. You know what I'm saying? And I think I lost a lot of friends that were pioneers in hip-hop just so that they could make room for this type of mentality. They were casualties of war. But we didn't know we was at war. We still don't know that we are at war. We think we at war with each other. So that's why I came up here. I wanted to say rest in peace to Dale because I haven't spoken on it, but I also, since the paperwork came out, and since he may have had a hand in his own son's death, Skinny's death, is the demise of his stepson, because he got 2 bodies now. He ain't gonna get no less than 30-something years, or maybe more. So his life is gone, and Cash's life is gone. FBG Cash, just when he was about to blow up. Whole generation, we have watched a whole generation be obliterated. And now we sitting here in PTSD mode without even knowing that. We don't even know that we in PTSD mode. I been was in PTSD since I was 13 or 14 years old when Little Mama, the rapper Little Mama, her uncle was one of my best friends. And he got killed in a gambling game in the park when we was like 14. So I was already PTSD from that. 'Cause when I say that was my nigga, that was my buddy. And he was the first one that got killed. And then next thing you knew, it just kept going and going and going. You young, you 13, 14, you see these people every day. You go to school with them. Next thing you know, they dead. You go to school and you see a body on the bleachers. You see a purple looking ass arm when you go to play handball before school start. And you look at the bleachers and you see a motherfucker laying there dead. You hearing about bodies getting thrown off your motherfucking roof. I lived in a 14-story building. It was always somebody getting thrown off that fucking roof. It was always somebody. Even at 8, 9 years old, there was an undercover policewoman. She lived on the second floor. And this dude was in the elevator with her. He tried to rob her. She blew his fucking head off in the elevator. So I'm hearing this at 6, 7 years old. I'm like, damn, which one of the elevators was it? You know what I'm saying? I'm getting on the elevator going, damn, it was blood. Somebody got their head blown off in this motherfucker. So, I didn't come up here to stay long. I just came to say that. And just remember to pass that game on down for free. Pass that game on down for free. Because you might think you're not doing nothing, but you're saving a lot of lives teaching someone the real game. Not the one that's been sold. These sellout rappers done sold the motherfucking game. Now they using it against us. These little young rappers blowing up. I finally realized my dream. And they getting in that industry and seeing all this crazy shit going on. Then we wonder why they crazy. And some people still in denial. Nah, that ain't happening. Yes, the fuck it is. Yes, it is. Because how the fuck is it that you can handle the streets and make it out, but you get in the industry and you get fucked up in the head? What's really going on in that industry? Or you bind up dead. But you was living in war and you was alive the whole fucking time. But as soon as you get in the industry, somebody peel your cat back. You gone. Hell yeah, that shit desensitized you, Dro. And you a fucking kid. Every time you turn around, this one got killed, that one got killed, this one got killed, that one got killed, this one got killed, that one got... You barely healing from the one before you that got killed. Then next thing you know, somebody else get killed. We was young. Even today when I go past some certain streets and, you know, in the 80s, 90s, somebody got killed on that block. Somebody I loved right here on this corner. That shit is detrimental to your mindset. People that I wish I could talk to this day. I wonder, you know, could I talk to them and how their mindset would be now seeing all this shit going on. All the ones that could have taught you niggas, you little young dudes. What's up, AZ King? That could have taught you young dudes to do something else with your life. Or if you choose to move in the streets and you ain't getting no money, I'm sure I could hear them now. If you moving in the streets and you ain't getting no money, what the fuck is you out here for? You ain't getting no money. So what the fuck, that's what the streets was for you to have an alternative to get money to take care of your family. It wasn't so niggas could hunt each other down and kill each other. No, that's not what it was for. That's not what the streets is. But anyway, I'm hungry, y'all. I want to eat my food. I want to eat my food and I'm starving. But I was watching all these different lives about Daryl It just made me think about that and go back to the texts. I can't go back to the phone calls because I didn't record them, but we used to be on the phone for hours talking about the difference between now and then and the rules and, how we used to move. But his whole thing was, this little young nigga disrespected me. They done ran away with my package. So I guess we could say maybe the person is not the devil, but the ego is. And I'm going to leave y'all with that. Peace and love. I'm going to eat something. And y'all have a blessed day. Much love to y'all. Teach somebody something. Don't be scared. Even one little conversation with someone could save somebody's life. Peace and love, y'all.